Is Dolph Ziggler a weakest link? The crowd react famously to Elias and Kevin Owens. A wild Kane appeared in the main event. And what exactly is the good side of Hello? I'm Ben from the 5 Moves of Doom podcast, and it's time to look at Monday Night Raw. Well, Monday Night Raw started off with Dean Ambrose coming to the ring to speak to Mrs. Charlie Caruso. He tells the world and Charlie that despite what people think, and despite that there being an element of truth to what Dolph said last week, the Shield is a brotherhood and it is still the Shield through and through. This brings out Baron Corbin, who gives Dean 3 choices for his match tonight. He can either face Seth for the IC title, he can face Roman for the Universal title, or he can risk his career against Braun Strowman. Wait, risk his career? Has Strowman now got a reputation for ending careers I didn't know about? What the hell are you on about, Corbin? Well, nevertheless, the decision was taken away from him because when Ambrose asked if he could face Corbin instead, Corbin decided to make the decision for him and placed him in a match with Braun Strowman. This is going to happen right now. Braun Strowman versus Dean Ambrose was a nice match to open the action, and Dean even managed to rock the big man on several occasions. But after Braun got angry and went for a third power slam, Roman Reigns would come to the ring to help out his brother, but also cost him the match via disqualification. Seth too came out, but that only brought out Dolph and McIntyre, and it looked like the battle was about to heat up. Baron Corbin came out and put a stop to it. Instead, we will get another 2 singles matches that see Seth versus Drew later in the night, but for right now, it's Dolph and Roman. And would you believe it, the match was actually rather good. Dolph even looked close to beating the big dog on several occasions, and at one point reversed a spear attempt into a very impressive looking sunset flip. But we all know better than that to think that Roman would lose on free TV and this close after winning the championship. And after a spear out of nowhere, which Dolph sold to perfection, Roman got the 3 count for the win. Fairly decent match, however. Rousey took on Ruby Riott next, and this went about as predictably as Jack Dillinger spending his evenings with a life-size cutout of Kairi Sane. Riott started off strong, but after she went for a Riott kick, Rousey caught her, threw her across the ring, and 2 minutes later Riott was tapping to an armbar. Despite the predictability of the finish, the match was quite easy and quite fun to watch. WWE are nailing this first hour of Raw. But that positive start came crashing down next as Connor of the Ascension pinned Bobby Roode for the 2nd straight week. And while it is nice to see the Ascension get some positive screen time, the whole thing seemed to serve the Bobby Roode heel turn. A heel turn that I'm quite eager to see, not only because I win the bet against Jack, but the thing is, you're repeating the same angle week after week after week. Sooner or later, I'm going to lose interest in this, and I'm sorry, I'm starting to go that way. The return of the Moment of Bliss was next, and it was expertly delivered by Miss Bliss. She tells us a story of being 8 and asking Trish for an autograph, where Trish tried to charge her $50 and ripped up her autograph book, saying that she can't buy Jimmy Choos with an autograph book. What? I didn't really understand this. I didn't think that she was trying to sell the autograph book to Trish, but apparently that's what we were meant to take away. Regardless, the moral of the story is don't meet your heroes, but I think we all know where this one's going to be heading. The B team grabbed yet another shock win over the Revival here next. There's pros and cons to this segment. On one hand, the Revival, yeah, they should be treated better. It seems like their mini push is coming to an end, so yeah, that must be a con. But the pro of the segment has got to be the Authors of Pain, decimating the B team as they tried to leave and ending their night with a super collider. And you know what? It seems like somebody in WWE does listen to us, because Drake Maverick has even started listening to Stolen Jack's fashion advice. Tension amongst the Dogs of War, it seems, next as Ziggler tells Big Mac and Strowman that he is convinced Ambrose is going to turn. Everything seems to point to it. Strowman says it'd be useful to have Ambrose on board because he is a winner when he's not fighting the monster among men. He also goes on to add that they could do without any weak links in their midst, and then stares directly at Dolph Ziggler. Ziggler turns to McIntyre for support, but McIntyre also just walks off and leaves him. Is Dolph going to be the one to turn instead of Ambrose? Who can tell? Well, we would find out in the next segment. It was Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins, and after a Ziggler distraction, Dolph would be instrumental in the beatdown after the match. McIntyre picked up the win, and both guys started to beat down Rollins, even bringing out Braun Strowman to join in the beatdown. Roman and Dean would try to make the save. Dean even brought his trusty axe handle, but the Dogs of War would beat both men down as well to stand tall to end this segment. The beatdown was a bit disjointed. Still no idea why the members of the Shield come down separately, but you know what? It continued the story, even if it did make the Dolph Ziggler thing a bit pointless, at least for now. Did anyone say how do you get nuclear heat on Monday Night Raw? Well, if you are looking for that sort of advice, Elias is your man to go to. My God, does that man know how to rile up a crowd. After a line about basketball, the crowd went into meltdown, incessantly booing him and partner Kevin Owens throughout the rest of the segment, even forcing the two to shout down the microphone, even though they got turned up as well. This crowd was angry. After saying some things putting down Bobby Lashley and John Cena, Lio Rush would interrupt them again, but this week unfortunately Lio seemed a bit out of his depth. I'm going to chalk this one up to experience, as he seemed to have been actual gold since his debut, but yeah, tonight he looked a bit out of his depth. He introduced Bobby Lashley, who came down for his match against Kevin Owens. The match was alright, it was fairly good. Lashley's matches are getting better. Elias attacked Lio to get Lashley's attention on the outside, causing the distraction for Kevin Owens to roll him up, and after the match the two would beat down on Bobby Lashley and Lio Rush. Lio Rush trying to make the save for Bobby Lashley, jumping off the top rope but getting swatted out of midair. I'm going to say it before and I'll say it again, this is how you build heels. They look strong, they look dominant, and they look like they are believable heels because they didn't run away. They stood and got the job done. Excellent segment. Next up, we got Bayley with Finn Balor at ringside, taking on Alicia Fox and her latest partner, Jinder Mahal. And yeah, the match was okay, I guess. Oh, look at that. Sting is back with Jinder 1 week after getting beaten up in the middle of the ring. Well, there's not a lot you can say here, really. It's to fuel the Mixed Match Challenge, which is non-canon, so it feels like people are getting wasted. And it's easy to say that Balor should be treated better. But he looks like he's having fun with his good mate, Bayley. So as long as he's happy, we're happy, I'm guessing. I still have no idea what the good side of hello means, but hey, that's Alicia Fox for you. Although I will give credit to Jinder Mahal for his excellent line of last week was last week, this week is a new week, but Alicia, you're still crazy. That was absolute comedy gold. But yeah, good side of hello, not a clue. And it's main event time now as HBK is back in the ring, conspicuously wearing a bandana under his hat. He tells us that he felt all the emotions and anticipation ready for Super Showdown in Australia, and that at first he just wanted to be here as a fan. But then The Undertaker made it personal. He made him pick the winner between Undertaker and Triple H, and for the life of him, he doesn't understand why, because every single day, Shawn Michaels will pick his best friend, Triple H. He also went on to tell Kane that if he decides to rush the ring on Saturday, he will be the recipient of some sweet chin music. This set off the pyro for Kane, and he was upset to come to the ring. But when Michaels turned around, Kane was already there and walked straight into a chokeslam. This brought out The Undertaker, and the two of them looked set to beat the living piss out of the Heartbreak Kid. But no, Triple H came down to make the save. Well, we thought he was going to make the save. What actually happened is they both received chokeslams, and then Triple H received a tombstone pile driver for good measure. It's Undertaker, it's Kane, it's Shawn Michaels, it's Triple H, it's 2018, and my God, they're still golden. The end of an era was a bit annoying back in the day because it clearly hasn't turned out to be the end of an era, but this match surely will be good. The build's been good, great. All in all, Raw was a fairly decent show this week. We had good matches, we had story progression, we had a very disjointed attack from the Dogs of War, but all in all, a really good. Any Raw that ends with The Undertaker looking strong and dominant is fine by me. What did you guys think of Monday Night Raw from last night? Let us know in the comment section below, and be sure to like and share this video so that everybody can see our opinions. Then head over to Podbean and Facebook and make sure you're subscribed to the podcast to never miss an episode of any of the 5 Moves of Doom shows. Cheers.